Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be covering one of my favorite PvP builds. Today's going to be a little bit more of an unscripted chat like one of my previous videos, but I just really wanted to get this build out there because it's so good, it's so effective, and in freelance trials this week in Wormhaven, I think it's going to be really good. So let's get right to it. The great thing about this build is that it isn't going to get any worse after this season is over. I know Solar 3.0 is kind of like the thing right now, but it's going to still be really good even after the season's over. So first off, I'm going to start with some reasons and footage to back it up as to why you're going to want to run Tripmine grenades. Tripmine grenades are a great team player tool, whether you're playing solo or with a team. They're great for trapping reses, they're great for reaching around corners and getting kills that way, and they're great for cutting off choke points, especially if the enemy can't see it and you set it up in a way that it'll detonate as soon as they go off through a choke point. They're probably not going to come through there, and if they do, you'll be able to clean them up very easily. So there are a lot of perks to using trip mines, and I really wanted to get this video out this week because it's Wormhaven, and Wormhaven has a lot of nice, flat, smooth surfaces and good areas that you can reach around with tripmine grenades that they'll land nicely. There are a lot of maps where you don't want to use tripmine grenades. They are kind of situational. Some Vex maps are an absolute disaster. While there are a lot of flat surfaces for your tripmine grenades to attach to, they're also kind of porous. Sometimes you'll think you have a good angle and then your tripmine grenade just points straight down. It's really frustrating. If you use it for any amount of time, you'll know what I'm talking about. But of course, there are maps in trials especially where you are going to want to use trip mines. Endless Vale, you can really reach around some corners there. The Shores of Time remake has some really good spots where you can reach around corners and get kills. And Wormhaven as well. I've had some luck in the past. I don't have any footage of it today since I haven't been able to play trials yet this week, but Wormhaven has some good choke points and firefight areas that you'll be able to reach around and get some kills or weaken enemies with a trip mine. So with all that said, trip mines are very effective, but they're even better with Young Ahamkara Spine, which is what the whole build revolves around today. Young Ahamkara Spine increases your trip mine grenade duration and blast radius, so it's great for setting up choke points, and if they get inside that blast radius at all, it's really going to be doing like full damage around 160 health, and also when you do damage with that trip mine grenade, it's going to be giving you a lot of energy back right away. If you look closely at this clip, as soon as I land the grenade hit, it gives me back around 2/3 of the energy, and I'm able to throw one in about 10 seconds, as you'll see. And I'm able to follow it up with my teammate pretty quickly here. I don't even want to know how frustrating it was for that guy, but anyway, as you know, builds are all about basically going for one ability and seeing how often you can get it back. So Young Ahamkara's is a great start there. It gives you a lot of energy back as soon as you get hits, but another great thing to pair with that is Bomber. Especially with hunters, your class abilities coming back really quickly. I would definitely recommend running 100 mobility for this build, because then you can dodge really often, and each time you dodge, you're going to be getting a nice chunk of grenade energy back. So besides the actual energy you get back from doing damage with your grenade because of Young Ahamkara Spine, you're also going to be having Bomber, which is giving you grenade energy back. But then I'd also recommend making your Ahamkara Spine stasis so that you can run Grenade Kickstart. You can run one or two of these. I generally run only one because I like to have a reload perk, but if you can run two, it does have diminishing returns, but that, as soon as you throw your grenade, is going to be feeding back into your grenade energy even more. So as soon as you throw your grenade, you get energy back. If you dodge, you get even more grenade energy back, and if you damage someone with the target, it's probably going to restore it right then and there. You get a lot of energy for dealing damage. So a couple more things before we move on to a simple pros and cons list. Let's take a look at how you can enhance this build even further by going into your subclass building. So first, for an aspect, I would do On Your Mark. Activating your class ability immediately grants maximum stacks of On Your Mark, which grants weapon handling and reload speed. So this is really great because you're going to be dodging a lot with Bomber, getting your grenade energy back. Then also you're going to have really high handling and reload on your weapons. So this might be a good thing to do if you do want to run those two Grenade Kickstart mods, because then that kind of negates the reload issue. So that's a really effective natural pairing because you're going to be dodging a lot. But getting into our Fragments now, a really natural pairing as well is going to be Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets, which tripmine grenades actually do scorch your targets a little bit. So maybe you aren't able to get the cleanup kill right then and there. Maybe your enemy is at full health and the tripmine grenade hits them and it doesn't kill them. You are still getting a lot of benefit from them being scorched because it's going to be restoring class ability energy, which you can then use to dodge and get more grenade energy back. So it's a really natural loop. If you get the kill, great, it'll give you a ton of grenade energy back because of Young Ahamkara Spine, but if you don't, they're going to be scorched, and you're still going to be getting class ability energy, which feeds right back into your grenade. And then if you want to enhance that effect even more, Ember of Ashes applies more scorch stacks to targets, so they're going to be burning slightly longer, restoring even more of your class ability energy, which is really great, not just because of restoring your class ability energy, but it also keeps them from recovering their health sooner, so you can move in, maybe you can push your target and clean them up with just a couple shots. it leaves them really low health. I mean, Tripmines do about 160 damage with Ahamkara Spine, and you'll be able to clean them up super easily. So just to wrap things up and get a clear view of everything all at once, you're going to want to run 100 mobility and 100 discipline if you can manage it. The biggest thing is 100 discipline though, and if you can get close with mobility, that's great. Then of course you're going to want to use Ahamkara Spine for the enhanced Tripmine with better duration, blast radius, and giving you a ton of energy back when you get hits with it. Then to stack that on with more regen, you're going to want to use double bomber, so you get grenade energy back anytime you dodge. And then on your Ahamkara Spine, I would make it stasis and run either 1 or 2 Grenade Kickstarts. So as soon as you throw it, you get a bunch of grenade energy back. It's around 20%. And then on your actual solar subclass, I would run Ember of Singeing and Ember of Torches so that your targets are scorched longer, and while they're scorched, you get more class ability energy. So all of that is feeding right back into you throwing your grenade even more, harassing your enemies, locking down choke points, and reaching around corners and getting kills that you'd never be able to see ordinarily. I mean, if you're just watching the background footage, the amount of kills I get on targets that I can't even see and they think they're safe around a corner, it really happens a lot. I imagine it's pretty frustrating for them. But as a solo player, this is a really great way to help out your team, lock down res points, maybe get some early picks, or if you have a couple people rushing you, take their health way down to nothing and then just clean them up. Tripmine grenades are just really great. So what about some simple pros and cons? Well, pros, you definitely get to use your Tripmine a lot, and your Tripmine is effective, does a lot of damage, around 160. You have a couple things feeding back into your Tripmine, and it makes enemies easy to clean up. It's a good team play exotic, it really is. Like I mentioned earlier, you can lock down revives. You know, if anyone tries to go for it, they're going to get scorched and they're going to take a ton of damage. They're not going to be able to get the revive. It's great for locking down choke points. If you set it where they aren't going to be able to shoot it and it would force them to run through and take that damage, they're probably not going to come through that way. Another great thing is that it's kind of a distraction. So normally you're able to just one-shot Tripmine grenades, but with Ahamkara Spine, it has kind of a shield and it can take additional damage from enemies before exploding. So it can be a great distraction. While they're shooting it, you can kind of push through and maybe take them out. But what about some drawbacks? Well, you do have to commit pretty hard. I mean, you know, if you don't have the best armor either, you may not have necessarily very high stats. If you're going for a double 100 build, you may not have good stats in other areas, so that's certainly a problem. Sometimes teams are just really good at dispatching with your Tripmine grenades. You know, if you don't place them in the right spots, it's going to be a problem. They're just going to be able to take them out really easily. And some maps are frankly terrible, and I wouldn't use this build at all. You know, the geometry isn't favorable in a way that you can actually land your Tripmine to face in the right direction. Sometimes you'll throw it and it'll stick pointing straight down, which isn't a whole lot of help. Other times the map just isn't favorable due to the design of some of them are just too open and they'll never step into the range of your Tripmine, or it's just too easy to avoid. You know, so those drawbacks are certainly worth considering. I wouldn't use it on every Trials map, but for maps, like I said, Wormhaven, Endless Vale, there can be some really good choke points that you can lock down with these Tripmines. But that's about it though. I hope this wasn't too rambly. I hope this all made sense. This build really is one of my favorites. I've been able to do some really fun things and get some great clips out of this. So before I sign off here, I am going to post all the components of this build in the description if you want to just take a look at that and copy that. I'll have all the armor mods and fragments and all that stuff paired with it. And of course, if you have a weapon with Demolitionist, that's always a great pairing. But yeah, definitely check that out in the description. Also in the description is a link to my very small and humble Discord. Feel free to jump over there and have a chat with me and my small group. We do all sorts of fun stuff, share memes, build ideas, video requests, all kinds of fun stuff. So definitely check that out. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, talk to me down in the comments about it, and let's talk about your favorite builds. What do you like to bring into PvP? But I think that'll do it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to support the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.